So I think the number one agenda item is culture, particularly given the pandemic has meant that people have had less time with each other in the workforce. And those fast-growing organisations might have seen a significant increase in their staff who've never actually met anybody in the office. And so I think for every organisation, there's a certain amount of resetting of the culture that needs to happen around what the purpose is. And I think that's so important in uncertain times.
We're currently in a period of inflation, seeing inflation throughout the world as a follow-on from the pandemic. And that brings its own challenges in terms of rising costs in the business and how you manage costs rising whilst at the same time having to manage your top line as well.
If you think about the supply chain, we're seeing products are not available, we're seeing increased costs in supply chain, labour costs are going up, labour shortages are going up. So I think there's a great pressure in the short term on margins for businesses. And I think that's one of the ones that we're going to really have to think about. There's still concerns about Plan B. A couple of the boards I sit on in the leisure sector, which were absolutely closed during the pandemic. And Plan B is a real test for consumer and customer confidence in terms of their return. So I think that's one of the ones that we are concerned about. But the mid and long term is clearly ESG.
The topic of ESG is incredibly current and important. All three, environmental, social and governance, but I think at the moment you can't help but be focusing more on the environmental. Companies are being asked to state when their net zero goals are, how they're going to get there, they're going to be required to report on those.
On the S side, you've got things like diversity and inclusion, which is an ever-growing topic, a great focus for businesses, and there's been an enormous amount of attention and time spent by businesses focusing on this area, but it's now really time to deliver.
Are you doing everything you can to retain your talent? How difficult is it going to be to recruit new talent? Because of that, salaries are spiralling as well. All of these things are hitting companies all at the same time. So I've got to say, I take my hat off to the CEOs of today at the moment. They've had to deal with a huge amount, and so have the boards.